In this video, we're going to talk about the concept of event plus response. So we've all experienced having to go somewhere we didn't want to go, do something we didn't want to do, and we were frustrated and annoyed in the process of it all. Like it was something that we couldn't avoid. Like we had to show up, like because of the weight of its responsibility. Like there was no work around it. So we had to be there, but we were frustrated that we had to be there. We had to do the thing, but we were irritated that, like, why I got to do this thing, right? And so I'm sure we have, plenty of experiences just kind of with that. And so I wanted to read this passage in Mathew chapter 26 about when Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane praying to the Father regarding him going to the cross. And it'll tie into this concept of event plus response, and just the simple fact that because you can't change the event, you must change your response to it. And so we're going to read Matthew 26 verses 36 through 46. Then Jesus came with them to a place called Gethsemane and said to the disciples, "Sit here while I go and pray over there." And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and he began to be sorrowful and deeply distressed. Then he said to them, "My soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even to death. Stay here and watch with me." He went a little farther and fell on his face and prayed, saying, "O my Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will." Then he came to the disciples and found them sleeping and said to Peter, "What, could you not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, lest you enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." Again, a second time, he went away and prayed, saying, "O my Father, if this cup cannot pass away from me unless I drink it, your will be done." And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. So he left them, went away again, and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then he came to his disciples and said to them, "Are you still sleeping and resting? Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is being betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand." So we see in verse 39, Jesus said, "O my Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will." But then also we see in verse 41, he said, "The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." And so this just showcases Jesus' humanity and the fact that his flesh it had the ability to get in the way and hinder him from going to the cross. And Jesus had to pray against that, right? Like his spirit was ready and willing, because like we're finally getting to that moment where the purpose of Jesus coming onto the earth was about to be fulfilled, but his flesh didn't want to undergo the suffering. And so Jesus had to pray against that. And so his initial response was him asking the Father to take the cup from him, like basically saying, if there's any other way we can do this, then let us take another route, right? Speaking out of his flesh, but speaking out of his spirit, he said, "Not my will, but your will." And so because Jesus couldn't change the event of him going to the cross, he had to change his response from asking the Father, "If it is possible, can you please take this cup from me?" Right? Like, is there any other way we can do this? Right? He had to change that response to not my will, but let your will be done. And so I want to talk about a time in my life where, because I couldn't change the event of something, I had to change the response of it. And it was actually like very beneficial to me that I did that, because the place that I was in was a bad place, and who knows where it could have, grew and led to. And so it was last year. I want to say maybe somewhere around third quarter last year in the fall. It was me going to work. And so the event of me going to work every day was something that I dreaded every time I had to go and clock in, right? Like I was frustrated every time I had to go to work. So at this time, I'm like actively learning about investing, day trading, just other different ways to make money other than working a 9 to 5. And so I've been doing that, just learning about that for some time now. And so just me having to get up and, go to this job that I didn't want to go to every day frustrated me, because I knew that I could be doing something different that I would rather want to do, right? That was more um, desirable for me. But I had to keep going to work because I had, certain bills and expenses to take care of. And so I couldn't stop going to work. And so that's the event that I couldn't change, me going to work. So I would show up to work frustrated, irritated, and just not wanting to be there. And I remember it was this one particular day. There's a few things that happened. So one, I was upset that I had to go to work that day. And then on top of that, I believe because I was, learning about day trading and stuff like that. So I believe I lost a trade or two that day also. And on top of that, I would have to put truck away. And so I would have to so I worked at Taco Bell. So I had to put all the boxes of food and everything up. And that was like a whole workout in itself. So I was upset about that. And like, it's just a few other things it was just overwhelming, and I was just frustrated. And so while I'm at work, opening up the store and doing all these things, I'm irritated. I'm trying to listen to gospel music. I'm asking the Lord to alleviate my frustration. And like, I don't know, I was just like I was just through with it that day, I guess. I don't know. But so I get done doing my regular things to open up the store. And during this time, we used to have a lot of downtime in the morning where we wouldn't get a lot of customers. And so sometimes it'll go like 20, 30 minutes and not a single customer. And so working at Taco Bell. And so I got done doing all my regular stuff to open the store. And now it's getting to that point to where like we will have that downtime. And so we will have a booth area in the lobby. And so I will always go and sit in the lobby during that time and be on my phone or whatever. And so this particular day, after I finished all my stuff, went in the lobby, sat in the booth area, and just had my gospel music playing, and just kind of just staring at the wall, just frustrated, and just thinking about a bunch of different things or whatever. And I remember this song that came on by Marvin Winans called "Draw Me Close to You." And as the song began to play, like I started to tear up, and like my eyes started to water and tears started to fall down. And I was a bit confused because I was like, why am I crying? Like, I'm honestly like trying to figure out why I'm crying or whatever. And so as the song is playing, like tears are just rolling down my eyes just uncontrollably. And so eventually I decided to go in the bathroom and wipe my face off or whatever. And I thought I was good then. So I went back in the lobby, sat back down in the booth. And now at this point, I done put the song on repeat because I'm like, okay, it got to be something about the lyrics. Like I'm trying to figure out what he's saying in the song that's causing me. Like I'm trying to figure this thing out because honestly, I couldn't remember the last time I cried since then. Like since that point, like it's been so long, I can't even remember the last time I cried. So I'm really trying to figure out. I'm thinking it's the song or the lyrics or whatever. And so I got it on repeat. And so I come back from the bathroom, sit down. And I keep playing the song because I'm trying to listen to the lyrics or whatever. And I start tearing up again. I'm like, yo, what's going on? And so I finally decided to change the song or whatever. And it just still uncontrollably just tears falling down. So I go grab my keys and go to my car and go sit in my car for about 10 minutes or so, 10, 12 minutes. And I'm listening to different gospel music. I'm like, okay, it's starting to clear up. I'm no longer, tearing up, no longer crying or whatever anymore. And so I think I'm good. I go back inside the restaurant, go back inside the store. Mind you, this is like probably in the span of anywhere maybe between 20 to 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes. Like I said, I'm talking no customers this entire time. And so I go back in the restaurant, I go sit back down and start tearing up again. I'm like, okay, I don't want to be up here like this, at work like this. And so I go and I ask my manager if I can leave and go home early. And she can see from my face and, my eyes or whatever that like I've been, crying or whatever. And so she giving me a hug, asking me what's wrong or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. I was listening to this gospel song and I just started crying and I couldn't stop, whatever. And so she gave me a hug or whatever. She let me go home early. And so I went home and I took a nap. And so fast forward, the following week, a week later, I came across this sermon and the pastor talked about this concept called event plus response. And he was talking about this passage, about Jesus being in the Garden of Gethsemane and him praying that prayer to the Father about asking if he could take the cup away from him. And then he said, not my will, but let your will be done. And so I decided to apply the principle of, because you can't change the event, you must change the response to it. And so I said, okay, because I can't change the event that I have to go to work every day, because I got financial responsibilities to take care of. And also I need capital for my little investments or whatever that I'm trying to make and this, that, and the third. And so I was like, okay, because I can't change the event of me going to work, I need to change my response to it. And so, my original response during this 3-month period of me being just frustrated, irritated, and discontent with being at work, I'm complaining. So keep in mind, this is all I'm internalizing all of this stuff, right? Like it's showing on the outside by my demeanor, by my work ethic, becoming more sluggish, and I'm not performing, as well as I used to. Like I'm not moving as fast. Like I'm showing up to work with this careless manner, and you can just tell that I'm just something wrong, downcast, so much so to where my coworkers started asking me what's wrong and am I okay, and things like that. I remember one day I was so usually I'm making the food or whatever on the drive-through side, the fast side, making food. But during this time period, it got so bad to where I got moved off the drive-through side, which is the fast side, to the counter side making food, which is the slower side, because I done slowed down a lot, due to this. And so I would either be over there or they would put me in the window to just cash out orders. And I remember this lady had came through the window, and she could see by my countenance and just by my demeanor. She had asked me how was my day, and I said something about me just ready to go home, or I just I can't wait till I get off or whatever. And she had told me, she said that to be grateful that I have a job, and there's people that don't have jobs and live under bridges and things like that, but just be grateful that I have a job. So just express that gratitude. And I'll be honest, that day my whole mood shifted and changed that day, and that really uplifted my spirit or whatever. And so during these 3 months, I'm just complaining or whatever. I'm in my mind, right? I'm one of my things is if you gonna complain, don't complain out loud to where other people can hear you. You frustrate them. Keep it to yourself. And so I'm just internalizing all this stuff or whatever. And so that was my initial response. So when I decided to say, okay, I need to change my response to how I show up to work, I went from complaining and being frustrated and annoyed to expressing gratitude and thanksgiving. And so anytime I would find myself starting to conjure up a complaint or whatever, then I would just replace it with, Lord, I thank you for the job. I thank you for having a job. I'm grateful that I can, get up and come to work, and I have a vehicle to come to work, and I have a source of income. There's people that don't have a job and don't have a source of income, right? Like, I thank you that I am able to, that this job is able to support all my financial needs. Like, and I just changed my language with, from complaining to gratitude and thanksgiving. And over time, my demeanor started to change. Over time, I wasn't as frustrated at work. Over time, I eventually got to the point to where like not that I'm all just happy and jolly every day, because I still don't really want to be there, but I'm not. I'm showing up to work with a spirit of contentment, right? And I'm just grateful to have the job and things like that. And so that yeah, so that was the shift that I had to make with my perspective about going to work every day. And so just like with Jesus in the garden, his initial response was, out of his flesh, asking the Father to take the cup from him if it's possible. But then he flipped that response immediately to, not my will, but let your will be done. In spirit speaking at that point. And so I just encourage you to evaluate the unchangeable events in your life. You going to work, you just certain responsibilities that you have to be there, you have to go there, you have to do that thing that you really don't want to do it, or that you might dislike it and you wish you was doing something else, you wish you was someplace else. Like, I just encourage you to replace that spirit just with simply gratitude and thanksgiving. Like, gratitude goes a long way. Like, thanksgiving goes a long way. And so let this just be an encouragement to you to apply that. And it may not even be, specifically the gratitude and thanksgiving, but it may be something else. So whatever it is that you need to change about your perspective of the event that you have to attend, or that you have to be a part of or participate in, make that shift and make that change. And watch how much better you feel being there doing the thing, and just watch how much better it'll uplift your spirit and just be a benefit for you. And so I appreciate y'all for watching. May God bless you, and I will see you on the next video.